The last washy they called home. Nobody likes the night shift at the wash. The pay's bad, the hours are worse, and the customers, they're the strangest part. I started working at Clearstream Auto Spa 2 months ago. The 24-hour self-serve kind, just off Highway 7. Rows of ancient soap pumps, vacuums that never quite worked, and 4 wash bays with automatic sprayers. You swipe your card, pick your cycle, and drive through. Simple. Boring. Mostly empty after midnight. Management didn't care what we did as long as we kept an eye on things. Which basically meant sitting in the grimy office behind the counter, half watching the security monitors while scrolling through our phones. At least, that's what I thought. Until last Thursday. The night, everything changed. It started slow. The cameras flickered around 1:37 a.m. Nothing new, cheap equipment, power surges. But when the feed came back, Bay 3 showed a car pulling in. A black sedan, no license plate, no lights. Just rolled in silent as a ghost. The sprayers kicked on automatically. Soap and water hissing over the windshield. No driver visible. Not unusual people stayed in their cars all the time. Still, something about it felt wrong. I waited for the wash cycle to finish. Waited for the car to pull forward. It didn't. 10 minutes passed. 15. Still there. Just sitting, half shrouded in steam. I grabbed my flashlight, stepped outside. The air was thick with chemical mist. The bay lights buzzed overhead. And the sedan? Still idling. Still empty. Windows fogged from inside. I crept closer, tapped the glass. No movement. No response. But inside, through the steam, I thought I saw a shape in the back seat. Hunched, twisted, like someone crouching low. Watching me. I backed away. Fast. Returned to the office. Locked the door. Tried calling the night supervisor. No answer. Tried again. Straight to voicemail. When I checked the monitor again, the black sedan was gone. Bay 3 was empty. No water on the ground. No steam. No sign a car had ever been there. I told myself I imagined it. Stress. Lack of sleep, paranoia. But when I sat back down at the desk, I saw something new. On the counter, a set of keys. Not mine. Old, rusty, and dangling from the ring, a plastic tag from the wash itself. Faded, almost unreadable. But I could still make it out. Thank you for your loyalty. Stay clean forever. The keys sat on the counter for the rest of the night. I didn't touch them, didn't even want to look at them. Every time I glanced away, though, they seemed closer, like they were inching toward me when I wasn't watching. I left them there, finished my shift at sunrise, went home, told myself it was exhaustion, too many double shifts, too much stale coffee and bad gas station sandwiches. Next night, I almost didn't show up, but I needed the money. Rent was late, excuses don't pay bills. I clocked in, slogged back to the office. Security monitors buzzed faintly. Nothing unusual at first. Then, around 3 a.m. I saw it. Not just one car this time. 3. 1 in each bay. Same thing, no plates, no headlights, no movement. The mist curling up around them like hungry fingers. The sprayers ran. Soap, rinse, wax. On repeat. Even when the cycle should have ended, I stood up, hands sweating. Something deep in my gut screaming, don't go out there. Stay in the office. Call someone. Do anything but step outside. But my feet moved anyway, dragged by something heavier than fear. Something like habit, routine. The mist hit me the second I opened the door. Warm, sticky, smelled wrong, like sour milk and melted rubber. The cars sat in their bays, silent, waiting. No drivers, no brake lights, no sounds, but the steady hiss of water and the crackle of old fluorescent bulbs overhead. I stumbled toward Bay 2. Closer, closer. Something shifted inside the car. A dark shape pressed against the rear window. A face, or something like a face. Mouth stretched wide in a frozen, mocking grin. Eyes too many. Eyes where they shouldn't be. I reeled back, dropped my flashlight, ran. The mist thickened behind me, heavier now, chasing me, whispering in a voice that wasn't a voice. Stay clean. Stay forever. I slammed the office door shut, bolted it, shaking, breath ripping out of my lungs in broken gasps. The monitors flickered, static, buzzing, and when the image cleared, I wasn't alone. In the office, behind me, a reflection in the monitor glass. Another me, smiling, holding the rusty keys, dangling them gently, invitingly. I didn't dare turn around, didn't dare move. I didn't move, couldn't. Behind me, the air felt thicker, warmer, heavy with something old and damp. The reflection on the security monitor didn't match me anymore. It stood straighter, smiled wider, held the rusty keys dangling between two fingers like an invitation. The same keys I had left on the counter. The same keys that should have never moved. I backed up, breath rattling in my chest. The office door felt miles away. The mist outside pressed against the glass like greedy hands. I had to get out, now. I sprinted for the door, wrenched it open. The mist swallowed me whole, blinding, burning. I stumbled forward, gasping, hands stretched in front of me like a blind man in a storm. The sound of water-pounding concrete roared in my ears. The wash bays were full again. Not just 3 cars now, dozens. Black sedans, gray pickups, old station wagons. All lined up, nose to tail. All idling silently. Steam rising around them in slow, swirling patterns. Through the mist, I saw them. Shapes moving between the cars. Some walked on 2 legs, some crawled. Some dragged themselves along the wet pavement, leaving streaks behind them. I ran. Or tried to. The ground was slick underfoot, the mist pulling at my ankles like wet fingers. I slipped once, crashed to my knees, scrambled up again. No headlights, no human voices. Only the soft mechanical rhythm of the sprayers hissing, over and over and over. Wash, rinse, wax, repeat. I stumbled toward the highway, where I thought the highway was. But the gravel lot just stretched and stretched. No road, no town, just mist. And the endless rows of cars waiting their turn. My chest burned. My throat was raw. Still, I kept moving. And then, I saw it. At the far end of the lot, a figure. Not mist, not a reflection. Real. Standing under the flickering light of Bay 4. Wearing the same uniform as me. Same blue work shirt. Same name stitched over the heart. And in his hand, swinging casually, were the keys. Those damn keys. He smiled. Raised the keys high. And beckoned. Once. Twice. I froze. Every part of me screamed to run, but my legs moved on their own, drawn forward like iron shavings to a magnet. When I reached him, he dropped the keys into my palm. They were warm, alive, buzzing under my skin. I wanted to throw them away, wanted to scream, but my fingers closed tight around them, unbidden. The figure leaned close, whispered in my ear, "You're part of it now." And then he was gone, melted into the mist, leaving me alone, holding the keys, wearing the uniform, hearing the sprayers click on, click off, click on forever. I stood there, watching the next car roll in. No driver, no headlights, just another loyal customer, coming in for their final rinse. And somewhere deep inside me, something smiled and waited. Third dock door. You notice strange things when you work the graveyard shift. The creaks in the walls that shouldn't be there. The hum of machines that were turned off hours ago. The way the shadows move when you're sure you're alone. I started at Bridges Freight Depot 3 months ago. Third shift. Midnight to 8 a.m. Easy money, they said. All I had to do was monitor incoming deliveries and occasionally check the docks. Most nights, nothing came in after midnight anyway. Just me, the buzzing overhead lights, and an ocean of stacked pallets stretching into the dark. The depot had 2 loading docks, Bay 1 and Bay 2, both clearly marked. Big painted numbers peeling from the concrete walls. Nothing complicated, nothing to screw up. First 2 weeks, everything was fine. Clock in, sip bad coffee, scroll through my phone, clock out. It felt almost too easy, like the quiet before a storm. It started about a week ago. Small things. The click of the heavy dock doors creaking in the middle of the night, even though I hadn't touched them. The faint metallic smell in the air, sharp and wrong, like blood on cold iron. And then, on the monitors, a third dock. I thought it was a glitch at first, some compression error. The camera pointed at Bay 1 and Bay 2, and there it was. Between them, a third door. Rusty. Dented. No markings. I got up, walked the warehouse floor, counted. 1 door, 2 doors, no third. Just blank concrete between them. But when I got back to the office, sweating slightly despite the chill, the camera still showed it. Still there. Third dock door. Waiting. I told myself it was the feed lagging. Old wiring, bad weather, anything but what my gut whispered. Something's wrong. That night, around 3:30 a.m., the motion sensor for Bay 3 pinged. A soft chime, clear as a bell. I stared at the monitor. The third door slowly, silently rolled up, revealing nothing but darkness beyond. Not even the pale fluorescent light touched it. Just black, thick, alive. I watched, frozen, as something moved at the edge of that darkness. Something crawling, dragging itself under the docklight. Thin arms, knotted joints, skin stretched taut over bones that bent the wrong way. Its head snapped toward the camera even though it couldn't possibly see it, and smiled. The screen went black. The screen stayed black for a full minute. I sat frozen, heart hammering against my ribs, sweat chilling down my spine. When the monitor flickered back, the dock was empty again. 2 doors, no third. I stood up on shaky legs, peered down the main corridor, and there it was. A third dock door. Solid. Real. Its rusted metal surface bowed outward, as if something too large had once pressed against it from the other side. The concrete cracked around its frame. The number 3 was crudely scratched into the surface, almost like a warning. I staggered back, knocked over a stack of boxes. The crash echoed across the warehouse, loud and hollow. Then I heard it. The door. Groaning. Metal grinding against metal. Slow. Relentless. I didn't wait. I bolted across the floor, weaving through towering pallets and empty shelves. Didn't look back. Didn't dare. At the security office, I slammed the door shut, locked it, shoved the filing cabinet in front, breath ragged in my throat. On the monitors, nothing moved. Rows of crates, dark aisles, stillness, until the motion sensor for Bay 2 blinked. The camera feed shifted. At the edge of the dock, something crept into view. A hand, long, skeletal, dragging black streaks across the concrete. It pulled itself closer, inch by inch. The figure was wrong, bent, crawling with too many joints in the wrong places. I backed away from the screens. My flashlight barely worked, its beams sputtering as if the batteries were draining too fast. The emergency radio hissed with useless static. The depot didn't feel abandoned anymore. It felt alive, breathing, growing, walls stretching, lights dimming into deeper shadows. The third door wasn't just open. It had infected the building, twisting it into something else. I knew, deep down, if I stayed much longer, I wouldn't find the way out. I'd find the thing waiting for me, and it had already found my name. I couldn't stay in the office, not with that thing moving closer, not with the walls breathing heavier by the second. I kicked the filing cabinet aside, yanked the door open, and sprinted into the warehouse. The air was thicker now, almost gelatinous. Lights overhead buzzed and flickered, throwing jittery shadows across the floor. Pallets towered over me like crumbling monuments. The rows between them twisted in ways they hadn't before. Paths looping back on themselves. Dead ends where open corridors used to be. The third dock door was open wider now. A hollow mouth carved into the far wall. Mist seeped from it, cold and oily. It smelled like rust, and something worse. I stumbled toward the main exit. The front lobby. Emergency exit lights glowed ahead. Small red dots in a sea of dark. But no matter which row I took, no matter how fast I ran, the path bent, shifted, redirected me, always turning me back toward the docks. toward the third door. I skidded to a stop, breath burning in my throat. From the corner of my eye, something moved. Fast, low to the ground. A flash of gray limbs and too many joints, vanishing behind the stacked crates. I ran faster, desperation screaming in my ears. As I rounded a final corner, I stopped dead. Ahead of me stood a figure, not crawling, standing upright. In the depot uniform, badge pinned crookedly over its heart. A reflection of me, a broken mirror image, smiling. It lifted one hand, beckoned. Behind it, the third dock door yawned wider. The mist parted slightly, revealing outlines. Other figures, standing perfectly still, silent, waiting. I backed away, turned, only to find the rows closing behind me. Walls shifting, shelving bending inward, sealing me in. The only open path led forward, into the mist, into the dock. My legs moved before I realized. One step, another, drawn forward by a pull deeper than fear. The closer I got, the louder I heard it. A voice. No, many voices. Layered, whispering in tones that weren't human anymore. "Welcome home. You're one of us now." I crossed the threshold. The mist swallowed me. The door slid shut behind me with a heavy final clang. And just like that, the warehouse was empty again. 2 dock doors. No third. Nothing but concrete and silence. Later, when first shift clocked in, no one noticed anything wrong. No alarms, no broken crates. Just another quiet morning. Only the security footage, if anyone had bothered to check, showed something strange. At the very edge of the last frame, a new figure in the loading dock shadows, wearing a depot uniform, badge gleaming dully under the flickering lights, waiting. Night shift horrors. Late checkout old home. The night shift at the Green Mart was supposed to be easy. Clock in, stock shelves, ring up a handful of late-night weirdos, clock out, nothing more. I liked it. The quiet, the hum of the coolers, the way the aisles stretched out under the buzzing fluorescent lights, neat and clean and still. It was always the same faces after midnight. Truckers grabbing coffee, teenagers daring each other to buy beer with fake IDs, old men who just wanted someone to talk to, predictable, safe. Until last Tuesday, until the man in aisle 5. I first noticed him around 12:45 a.m. I was straightening up the candy racks when the motion sensor chimed at the front door. He walked in. Normal enough, maybe mid-40s. Baseball cap, gray jacket zipped up to the neck. He didn't grab a cart or a basket, didn't even look at the shelves, just walked slow and steady down aisle 5 and stopped. I waited behind the register, watching. Aisle 5 was cleaning supplies. Bleach, mops, buckets. No reason to just stand there. But he did, motionless, staring at the wall of spray bottles like he'd forgotten what he came for. After a few minutes, I coughed loudly. The man didn't react, didn't even flinch. Eventually, he turned, walked slowly back toward the exit, and left without buying anything. Weird, but not the weirdest thing I'd seen working nights. Until it happened again, at 1:45 a.m. The chime, the door swinging open, same man, same gray jacket, same baseball cap, same slow shuffle down aisle 5, same blank stare. Only this time, there was something different, subtle, almost invisible unless you were looking for it. His face, too smooth, like it was stretched too tightly over the bones underneath. And when he turned toward the exit, I caught a glimpse of his mouth. It was smiling, not wide, not happy, just a thin, precise curve. Like he knew something I didn't. He left, again without buying anything. I told myself I was tired, seeing things, too much bad coffee. But deep down, something cold began to uncurl in my stomach. When he returned for the third time, just after 3:00 a.m., I was already watching the door, waiting. Same jacket, same walk, same aisle. But now, his hands hung at strange angles, bent wrong at the wrists, as if his joints didn't work the way they were supposed to. And this time, When he turned toward the checkout lanes, he didn't leave. He just stood there, facing me, silent, waiting. He stood there, halfway between the aisles and the registers, not moving, not blinking, just watching me. I forced myself to smile. A cashier's smile. Polite, empty. "You need help finding something?" I called out, voice cracking slightly. The man didn't answer, didn't nod, didn't shake his head. He just tilted his head a fraction to the side, like a dog hearing a sound it didn't understand. The overhead lights buzzed louder. The air smelled off, like rain on asphalt mixed with something sweet, rotting sweet. I glanced down, pretending to adjust the receipt printer. When I looked up again, he was gone. No sound, no footsteps, just gone. The doors hadn't chimed. The sensors hadn't beeped. He simply wasn't there anymore. My hands were shaking now. I told myself to get a grip. Finish the shift. Few more hours. At 4:12 a.m., the motion sensor chimed again. I braced myself. The door swung open, and he walked in. Same man, same jacket, same cap, same blank stare. Except this time there was another behind him. An identical copy. A second gray jacket. A second crooked neck. A second pair of empty eyes. They shuffled side by side into the store. Down aisle 5. Like a ritual. I watched the monitors above the counter, heart thudding painfully. On the grainy screen, I saw them. Not 2, not 3, but 4. All identical. All standing at even intervals down the aisle. Silent. Facing the shelves. Waiting. The lights flickered overhead. A soft electric hum filled the air. The candy racks nearest the door started to sway gently, though no one was near them. The phone behind the counter rang once. I jumped, grabbed it with clammy hands. Dead air on the other end. Then a voice. Flat. Monotone. Distorted. "Your shift is over." The line clicked dead. I dropped the receiver, stepped back. The monitors showed movement now. The copies. Turning. Walking toward the checkout lanes. Toward me. Their faces slipping. Smiles widening. Skin sagging in places like poorly glued masks. Eyes sinking into shadow. I backed up until I hit the cigarette display behind me. Nowhere else to go. Nowhere to hide. The doors didn't chime when they entered. The cameras didn't beep. It was like the store itself had decided to keep them inside. With me, I closed my eyes for just a second, just to catch my breath. When I opened them, the store was empty again. No copies, no customers, no movement. But on the counter in front of me, someone had placed something. A receipt, still warm from the printer. I picked it up, hands trembling, printed in black, blocky letters. "Thank you for checking out. Please enjoy your stay." I stood there, gripping the receipt like it could save me. The store around me buzzed softly. Empty aisles, flickering lights, the smell of warm plastic and old candy. For a moment, it almost felt normal again. Almost. Until I noticed the clock above the registers. It was frozen at 4:12 a.m. No ticking, no blinking, just stuck. I pulled out my phone. No signal, no battery percentage, just a black screen, faintly reflecting my face. Except it wasn't exactly my face. The reflection smiled. I wasn't smiling. I dropped the phone. It hit the tile with a crack that sounded too loud in the heavy air. The doors chimed again. Soft. Wrong. As if the sound came from underwater. I turned, expecting to see another customer, another copy. But it wasn't someone new. It was me. I stood there, just inside the automatic doors. Same jeans, same dark hoodie, same tired face. Only this version of me smiled wider, its eyes glinting wetly in the buzzing fluorescent light. It stepped forward. Slow, measured, mirroring my own panicked heartbeat. I stumbled backward, knocking over a rack of energy drinks. Cans clattered and spun across the floor. The copy didn't flinch, didn't blink, just kept coming. Around it, more figures shuffled into the store. Identical, not customers. Not strangers. All me. Copies, each one a little worse, a little more broken. Some with sagging faces, some with empty holes where mouths should be. Some dragging twisted legs across the tiles. The store stretched endlessly behind them now, shelves warping, lights dripping down like melting icicles. I ran. Past the registers, past aisle 5, past the freezers humming with hollow life. But no matter how far I ran, the store just kept going. Rows repeating. Signs warping into unreadable symbols. Floors slick with condensation that wasn't there before. And always behind me the soft slap of sneakers against tile. My sneakers, my copies. At some point, I stopped running. There was nowhere left to go. Only more store. More aisles. More me. I collapsed against a shelf of bottled water. Gasping. Crying. One of the copies knelt in front of me. Its face almost mine. Almost. It reached out. Hand. Cool. Clammy. Placed another receipt in my palm. I didn't want to look. But my eyes betrayed me. Printed neatly in the same blocky letters. All sales are final. No returns. Enjoy your stay. The lights overhead dimmed until they were nothing but dull spots in a smothering dark. And somewhere, at the edge of everything, the doors chimed one more time. Welcoming the next shift, the next customer, the next copy. And I smiled. Because that's what we do here. We smile and stay forever.